What up, guys?
Guess what today is? Knife Friday.
Yum. So, did I put my face in the camera?
Random face close.
As you can see, we got a couple new knives here for you. This one up on the top, this is going to be the knife I'm reviewing. It is the Sanrenmu 763.
And this one right here is going to be the one I'm reviewing.
Pause. Chew.
It's the CRKT Lake 111.
Woohoo! Alright guys, so what we have here is the Sanrenmu 763. This is a knife that not a lot of people know about. What turned us on to them were actually one of our subscribers left us a comment saying that they are really cool knives. I'd never heard of them, so I checked them out, and I was kind of skeptical because they're actually a Chinese-produced knife. They're made in China. They're really only sold in China. The only way you can get them here is if they're imported. But I ordered one, didn't really expect too much out of it, and what I got was really surprising. This is a fantastic little knife. I guess we'll get into the blade steel on it, which is 8CR13 MOV, which if you've seen any other of our Knife Friday videos, you can see that we really love this steel. It's in almost every one of our budget level Kershaws. Spyderco Tenacious has it. I think the Ripple has a variation on it.
CRKT 14.
Yeah, it has a 14 MOV instead of 13. I don't know. I can't tell too much of a difference over it.
There's one more MOV in it.
It's true. One more MOV. One whole MOV. But yeah, so as we said before, we really love the steel. A lot of people say that it will rust out on you. Just take care of it. I've never had one rust. Interesting point there, Patrick. But yeah, so just take care of them. Make sure you oil them up every once in a while. Keep them nice and lubey, and you'll be all set. Blade shape on this is a drop point, clip point. I don't really know which one to go with. I'm going to go with a drop point because it seems kind of nice and fluid there to me. I don't see an abrupt stop or anything, so I'm going to say it's a drop point. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I like it. It's really deeply hollow ground, which gives it a really fine edge there. The thing's a fantastic slicer. Little swedge up on the top there, which I think it doesn't really add anything to the knife other than looks. But it's a really great slicing knife. I use it for food prep at work all the time, carving up an apple or whatever. Works great. So then we'll go on to the traction, as we have written here. What that means is basically what the handle material is made out of, whether it's grippy, whether it offers some traction, which it does. It's black G10. This is actually a good time to bring in another version of this knife, the aluminum handled 763. This knife is offered in two handle variations.
That's mine.
That's Pat's, that's mine. That's a black G10. This is an aluminum, which is actually really nice. The weight on them is not really that much different. The G10 is actually somewhat grippy. It works really well. It was a lot more grippy when I first got it, and it kind of smoothed out over time. It's kind of lost a little bit of its texture over a lot of use, because I do use this knife all the time. It's one of my favorite little EDC knives, but it's still decent. Up on the top, it does have some jimping, or whatever you want to call it. Serrations, jimping, all the same stuff. But it has jimping on the handle and jimping on the top of the blade. It's okay. It works. You can dig your thumb in there. I've said this before too, I don't really hold my knife that way. It's just me, so it doesn't really matter too much to me. Is it any different on the aluminum? Basically the same. But it does give you some traction. It's better than the bare handle. So there's a little data point for you. On the handle itself, you got your pocket clip, which is, thank God, in the right direction. It is a deep carry tip-up pocket clip. Let's get this one out of the way. But it's a deep carry tip-up pocket clip, and it is reversible for left-right side carry, which is cool, because if you're left-handed, you want to flip it over. I haven't, so I don't know. I don't even know if... Yeah, it does look tapped, so you could do that. Cool. Pocket clip itself is really cool. It's a loop over, it carries really deep. The only thing I want to say about it, well actually there's a couple things. One is I think it scoops out really far. Can you see that?
Yep.
It kind of scoops out a lot. more than you actually need it to. And I've actually scratched my car a couple times just because of how far that sticks out. Just walk by and it grabs the paint. I think if I ever take this pocket clip off, I might grind it to try and just get the big spooniness out of it. And the other thing is it's kind of twangy, so I don't know if that means it's made out of cheaper steel, but if you grab it and pop it, you can kind of hear a twang. Yeah, it's not too big of a deal. It doesn't really bother me. You don't notice it until you snap the clip, but just a data point. It might be, I don't know, it might be made out of a cheaper steel or something. Not sure. But yeah, so I really like the pocket clip. Opening mechanism on it, it is a thumb stud opener, which is fine with me. I like thumb studs. They're actually pretty good. They're terraced nicely. You can see on this one actually, there's a little grind mark on it. That's for me when I sharpen this knife. The thumb stud kind of stick out a little bit far. So when I'm sharpening the knife, I actually hit the thumb stud. I don't know if that's that big of a deal to most people, but I use a consistent angle sharpener and I do hit the thumb stud. So, just another thing. The lockup on it, this is something that's either going to make people love this knife or going to make people hate this knife. It has an axis lock. Now, I love it. I love the axis lock. I don't own a Benchmade knife because I think they're overpriced. I really want one, but I just can't afford it. But yeah, so it does have an axis lock. Did they steal it? Maybe. Did they license it? I don't know. I don't really know the logistics of it. But it is a really good copy. Works great. The knife like flies out of the handle. And I love how you can just one-handed close it. What this knife actually did was made me really want a Benchmade bad, just so I can feel a real axis lock. But they did a really good job on it. So yeah, that may deter you from the knife, knowing that they kind of copied that. But for me, I think it's okay. Weight and size. So we have a blade length of 2.68 inches and a overall length of 6.22 inches. So 2.68. Overall 6.22, which I think is a perfect size for EDC. This is how, and really those numbers don't mean anything. It's all about how it looks in your hand, or feels in your hand. And this knife feels good. You can get basically all your fingers on it. It's comfortable, except for this little thing right there. It's kind of sharp. I knocked it down with some sandpaper. Cats is still really sharp. In the aluminum version, it's almost like a second knife. Man, that's sharp. But yeah, it's I mean, it feels good. That's like saying the length and everything doesn't really matter. It's all about how it looks in your hand, and that's how it looks in my hand. So everything else, I mean, like I said, the ergonomics on it are okay. Feels good. It's comfy. Enough said. Durability so far has been excellent. The only problem with it was, this is something that you probably won't be able to see, but I dropped this knife right on the spine, and it actually drove the blade into the handle, into a little pin that's in there. It's actually the pin for this screw. And it took a huge chunk, not a huge chunk, but a decent sized chip out of the blade. It just chipped the blade out. It took me about an hour to sharpen it out. So there's a kind of a hit for durability. Don't drop this knife because it will smack the bottom of the handle. It will smack it. I forgot to say that has a Zytel backspacer in it, and it will hit it and it will chip your blade out. So be careful about that. And last but not least is the price point. Best part about this knife actually. What I paid, because I was impatient and I wanted to get it in a couple days. I paid 20 bucks for it on eBay, which absolutely worth that. Absolutely worth that. But if you're not impatient like I am, you can actually order this straight from China through, like, I don't know, AliExpress or whatever it's called. We'll put the link in the description, but you can get this knife for like 11 bucks. Which is really cool. We were actually thinking about maybe, this is like an aside, but we were actually thinking about maybe importing these for you guys and selling them on our website with this cool little lanyard it's got. This didn't come with it, by the way. I made that, and it goes through the little, it has like a lanyard bail, which is kind of cool. All things I forgot to say.
How about a Christian Bale?
I like him too.
Does it have one of those?
I'm Batman. Sorry. But yeah, so I don't know. If you want us to do that. It's not a car. If you want us to do that, we will. Well, I don't know. In the future. We're thinking about that. This is actually a prototype. It's got a little mountain logo on it. But yeah, so that is the review of the Sanrenmu 763.
Alright, so John had his Sanrenmu 763. I also have mine, but I recently just got this. This is the CRKT Lake 111. Oh, look at that. This is 8CR14 MOV steel, just like some of the other CRKT knives that we've reviewed, which were the Ripple and the Suma. The blade shape, I like it. It's a nice, I guess it's a drop point.
Mm-hmm. No, it is a drop point.
Yeah, it looks like it's more angled here, but it's not. Yeah, it's a drop point. Nice hollow ground knife. I like the blade itself. Came fairly sharp, and I haven't sharpened it since I got it, and it's still pretty sharp. It can shave hair off, which is good. Cuts through paper pretty easily. But I think the blade shape overall complements the overall shape of the knife too. It's just a nice knife, even closed. It's very gentlemanly. Which, speaking of the gentlemanly look, that is attributed to this handle here. My version is the Zytel version. You can get one with brass internals too, which looks awesome. But I am cheap, so I got the cheaper one. So yeah, the traction on the blade is fairly decent. Now traction doesn't necessarily have to mean jimping like we said. This knife, as you can see, has no jimping. But the thumb studs are not completely in line with the blade at the top. As you can see, they poke out a little bit, so that gives you a little bit of finger traction, thumb traction on the top. And the blade itself, the finger choil on the blade itself is pretty prominent, so it really gets your finger in there, especially for a small blade too. It follows the curve of your hand and just catches right in your hand nicely. As far as the handle itself, this is a basket weave Zytel material. I guess it's comparable to G10. And it has a nice little pommel at the end too. My hand is too small for it, as you can tell. Like, it doesn't quite fit, but it fits the first 3 fingers of mine, which is good. For a small knife like this, you're not expected to fit your entire hand on the blade, which I'm alright with. The opening mechanism, this is a lockback, as you can tell, but it's got a thumb stud, and my one complaint with the knife is the opening mechanism, because listen, ready? Just... it's kind of weird, like you can just hear the spring, it's just weird.
Yeah.
But with that said, it has good detention, like, ready? Goes right back. So it won't open in your pocket, but there is a protection for that, so it won't open in your pocket. There's a lock right here, see this? They call it the LBS, the lockback safety mechanism right here. You push it up and it's locked in place. You cannot close a knife. So even if you're like doing a lot of hard work and you accidentally hit it with your finger, say the spring over time gets a little bit extra wear and tear on it, and it starts to loosen up and lose its spring ability, you won't accidentally close the knife in your fingers if you're using that thumb stud. And it works when it's closed too. Ready? Lock it in. I cannot. This is as far as the knife will open. Won't open any more than that, which is kind of cool. Unique little thing. John doesn't like it, but I do.
Stupid. I need a knife babysitter.
Psh, he's just.
Knife's not my mom.
He's been a little wuss bag. Now let's talk about the weight and size of this, shall we? Yes, we shall. The size, it is a good old 6 inches overall, and it's 1.5 inches wide and 1.25 inches tall at its tallest point. So it's a pretty small knife. The blade length itself is 2.5 inch, so it's legal in almost every state, which is cool. But I think it's a perfect blade length. The blade width, for such a small knife, it's pretty wide. The Kershaw Chill I just got is a longer blade, but it's narrower than this, and this is a smaller knife by far. But the blade is more deep on this. The weight on this is less than 3 ounces. So it's a sub 3 ounce knife. If you want to be a backpacker, if you want to go and be a backpacker, this is your knife. I feel like this is a great knife for backpacking because it has a durable handle, durable blade steel. It's a lockback. I feel I used to hate lockbacks. I don't know why. I like them now because they're just a much safer.
He likes them now because I bought a bird knife that he wants.
Yeah.
Now he likes lockbacks.
The Spydercos. I'm not really into birds that much. The Spyderco. That's a different story. Whew. Now let's talk about the handle. We already talked about the handle, but let's talk about the handle shape. Speaking of ergonomics, the handle shape is decent. Like I said, the finger choil and the
pommel,
thank you. The finger choil and the pommel at the bottom lock your first 3 fingers in pretty well, unless you have like sausage fingers, in which case you'll get those 2 fingers in there nice.
These things.
Like John's. But the handle is good. I just like the way it looks too. See that? Look at that. Give it a roll. Just cool looking, especially with the lanyard hole. Just gonna say, tiny. It wouldn't work for like a paracord lanyard unless you really shoved it through. But it would work for like a regular size, just like a necklace lanyard. But it does have a little eyelet that goes all the way through, so it just looks awesome. And the basket weave texture is really sick looking, in my opinion. And the balance of the knife, I mean, I don't know, my test for a knife balance is I put it on the finger choil and see if I can balance it on the thick of my finger. And this knife has decent balance. It's a little bit back heavy, but as most knives are. The Kershaw Chill has almost perfect balance to it. I love that knife, but we'll be talking about that next week. And as far as the comparison goes, you can look around at other CRKT products because they have a similar, they have this lockback safe mechanism. Another one I was looking at is the Gerber LST, a similar lightweight backpacking lockback knife. But I bought this instead because I liked the way it looked a lot better and nothing fancy sold me on it. So take it and shove it. Now how about durability? As far as the materials go, I think it's going to be a pretty durable knife overall because I have a lot of knives made out of 8CR13 or 8CR14 MOV steel, and I've had no problems with them at all. No rusting, just regular sharpening and maintenance, nothing really serious. And you was brewing a fart.
I don't know, possibly.
And the handle itself, I dropped it already, and you can't tell. So the handle and blade seem pretty durable. The hardware inside, we'll see about that in the future.
I was gonna say, like with the 8CR13 on my Bird Meadowlark. Well, I was gonna say on my Bird Meadowlark,
the handle,
the pocket clip rusted, but the blade didn't.
It's true because the pocket clip's not 8CR13.
Nope.
Speaking of the pocket clip, this pocket clip is stuck in position. So I'm sorry, lefties, because they put this lockback safe mechanism, you can't carry it lefty. You just can't. You can't carry it tip down. You can only carry it tip up on this side. And I apologize. But the pocket clip is pretty decent. It's got some decent snap to it, and it doesn't stick out a lot, so you won't gouge everything that you're trying to come across. But pretty durable knife. Yep, passes the test. We're good. Now how about, ooh, I locked it. Now how about price? I bought this one. This one was $17.50 basically. You can find them probably around $15. They have the longer version for $20 or so, and they have the brass version for more than that. I think it's a great price point for such a good knife, and I would definitely recommend the knife if you're looking for a decent small lockback knife under 20 bucks. Or if you're looking for a similar size non-lockback but with the axis lock, look at that. There's 2 knives here, same size, basically the same cost, same sort of look to them, two different options. They also both have that's the same kind of thing here. But yeah, those are the knives for this week. We have the CRKT Lake 111, which we'll post in the description below, and the Sanrenmu 763.
Boss.
Until next time,
I'm John.
And I'm Pat, and we are
Surviving on the Cheap.